Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wasim Sheikh and in this video today we'll be talking about web hosting. The topics that we'll cover today is what is a web hosting server, types of web hosting, and what are name servers. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. This will help me in growing and publishing more videos and help people like you who wants to learn more about websites and web hosting. So without further delay, let's get started. In simple terms, hosting is basically renting space on a server for your website files. It acts as a home for your website. Without hosting, your website can't be accessed online. There are two major types of hosting. One is a shared hosting and one is a dedicated hosting. Shared hostings are budget friendly and they share basically server resources with other websites. So in case of a shared hosting, there will be other websites which will be shared on your server along with your website. Though you won't be able to access those websites, but you will be able to access your website. So it's like breaking a single server into multiple different parts, and then each part is further broken down into different parts, and then those parts are given to developers and website hosters like you and me to go ahead and host their websites. Shared hostings are basically for small websites and blogs wherein you only have like 5 to 6 different pages on your website and there isn't much back end going on your website. So it's plain simple website like a business website wherein they have a home, about us, and contact page, or a personal blog where you share your travel experience throughout the world, or any other small website. So shared hostings are basically for low visitors, wherein there are not many people who are visiting your website and the website is also small. Some of the advantages of shared hosting is it's cost effective. It's really cheap. I mean, you can get a shared hosting for a year for just $5. And it requires minimal technical knowledge. You don't need to really have any technical knowledge in order to use a shared hosting. There are some disadvantages to it. There is limited resources. On your server, on your hosting server, there will be limited resources, limited space on your server. The RAM that is used to load your website might be less, and then there's performance issues. So let's say, for example, if your website is attracting a lot of customers, there is a possibility that your website might go down for some time. So if your website is attracting more customers, more visitor every day, and your website is getting slow, or if your website has a lot of downtimes, then you should consider yourself switching or upgrading to dedicated hosting. So what exactly is a dedicated hosting? Imagine an entire server dedicated only for your website. There is no other website on that server and the resources are not shared with anyone. So these are basically required for large businesses or an e-commerce website or websites wherein they are attracting a lot of visitors every day. Every hour there's like hundreds and hundreds of visitors on the website. These are basically for high traffic website, and these are pretty fast. There isn't much downtime, and the file size that you can store on this server, it's really huge. Sometimes you get unlimited storage for your websites on a dedicated server. The advantages of using a dedicated server is that you have full control over the server and the performance is really high. When you say a full control to your server, that means there will be some application which you cannot install in a shared hosting and you can actually go ahead and install it on a dedicated hosting. And these are really high performance server, so you won't have any downtime on your website, neither will your website will be going slow over a period of time. So what happens is when you store more files, when you create more pages on the website, if there are a lot of visitors who are visiting your website, there is a huge possibility that in case of a shared hosting, the website will go slow and sometime it may go down. That is not the case in terms of dedicated hosting. There are some disadvantages of using a dedicated server. One, it's expensive, and two, it does require technical expertise. So if you don't have a technical expertise, if you don't know how to work on a dedicated server, then you should consider yourself buying a shared hosting. So now we have covered both dedicated hosting, shared hosting, what exactly is a hosting, and which type of hosting should you choose for your website. Now we comes to the name server. Name servers are part of the domain naming system. They basically connect your domain to your hosting server IP address. If you don't know what a domain is, you can go ahead and click on this video which will pop up on the screen where I explain what exactly is a domain and how can you actually purchase a domain. So basically, think it like this. If you don't have a name server, your domain will not link to your website. So even though if you have already uploaded all the files to your hosting, if you don't connect your domain using a name server to your hosting, it is not going to work. That's all for today, friends. I hope you have a clear understanding of a hosting server and the name server. If you'd like to dive deeper, check my previous video on website development where I demonstrate how to set up a website completely free without purchasing a domain or hosting. In my next video, I'll be working with a custom domain and hosting to design a professional website. Don't forget to subscribe and stay updated. Thank you.